What up with your Crimson Tide fans? That was a big win on Saturday. Kane pitches a shutout. Or was it a farce? Let's talk about it. Hey, Alabama fans, roll tide, and welcome to our second bye week of the year. And welcome to Tide Sports. You know what we do over here. We love the Crimson Tide. We're going to talk about the Crimson Tide. Big win, big win. Welcome to Tide Sports. This is a Alabama football megacast. The Crimson Tide broadcast where, we talk about all things Alabama football, some other Alabama sports, and the little people and matters that may get in our way of reaching our next goals. Tide fans, you know how special you are to me. Please don't forget to add me to your YouTube viewership. Subscribe to the channel. Pound that like button. The channel has grown over the last year. 350 subscribers. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we are well on our way to 3,000 with your help. We'll get there soon. Tell others about the great stuff you hear here on Around the Herd and Tide Sports in general. Please keep people impacted by the horrors of Hurricane Helene and Milton in your prayers. Please donate what you can to a charitable organization that you are comfortable with. People really, really need our help still. Some are impacted, are wealthy, and many are working Americans. They got a little money. And some were living in poverty. But please remember, hurricanes don't use GPSs, tax returns, or street maps before wreaking havoc. So help if you can, when you can. Now back to business. Here on Tide Sports, we are dedicated and privileged to giving you all the pertinent, relevant, and impactful information on the greatest football dynasty to ever exist. The Crimson Tide, folks, y'all know it's the best to ever do it. It's the best to ever do it. So let everybody know the University of Alabama Crimson Tide is always in title run mode, which is the key to their success. They just keep it going. You know what I'm saying? But what a weekend. I went into this game thinking expecting more of the same, to be honest. I saw the Tide winning, but I thought they would come in maybe 31-18. And man, was I way off. I was just way off. The Crimson Tide defense pitched a shutout against an SEC team. I had to check the books. It's been a while since that's happened. Research revealed, if I'm not mistaken, it was Mississippi State, October 31st, 2020. Saban had a couple other teams he shut out last, I think year before last, whatnot. But that's the first SEC team in a while. Watching the game, Mizzou was no match for Kalen DeBoer and staff. They had nothing for what they were putting down. However, if you're like me, it was deep into the third quarter before I said, is this real? Is this real? I was kind of skeptical. It was an incredible day, and what a win. And hey, we got to remember, if we had lost that game, no playoffs, no way, no how. See you next year, right? So great win. Backs against the wall. But I'm going to celebrate this win. But, let's face it. We have been a thirsty Tide nation, okay? Thirsty not only for a win, but for a convincing win. And but I was happy, but no sooner than Caleb DeBoer was stepping up to the microphones for his post-game conversation, people started saying it was something not typical, You know, there's something not exactly typical about this team. It was 34-0 victory against the SEC opponent, but something wasn't right. Oh, was it the quarterback? But you got to remember this. It was an SEC opponent first. Next, they were ranked like 21st in the nation against the top 20 defense. We got injuries on defense. I don't hear nobody crying up for us. So what was it? You know, we literally played a team that essentially didn't have a quarterback, but we ain't have players either. Other players in the country lost their quarterbacks, Texas A&M, and they moved on. It ain't our fault. It's next man up mentality, not only at the University of Alabama, but everywhere else. I do realize that Mizzou without Brady Cook is like the Tide with no Milroe or Vandy with no Diego Pavia. When these guys not playing well or not present, you know, everything breaks down. Even like our crowd broke down since Tennessee. And like, you know, we need to put Ty Simpson back in. I'm like, did y'all see Ty last year? Well, you're not paying attention. They always say the most popular man in town for a team that's not playing very well is the backup quarterback. It's always the most popular, whether he can play or not. But not having your quarterback present can turn an awful day into an awful day for the entire team. But beggars can't be choosers. So we needed to win badly, and hey, roll tide. So we have dealt with a lack of experience and injury, and I'm sure Coach Drinkowitz can find some players around Missouri that want a shot at greatness. He had an opportunity to, just like Caleb DeBoer had to find out if he could find some players that wanted to play after 30 of them broke camp last February. So, you know, maybe it's the quality. Maybe the quality of his talent is tainted, but maybe if we won by 7, 6, 3 points, maybe I say that. But the Tide showed up and dominated. They dominated these guys like it was no match without their QB, which means a lot for Alabama's program. Awesome win. I will not besmirch the quality of this win because it was a definitive and almost nearly, if I can say that, flawless victory. So let me review the keys to the game that I came up with and see how things worked out. The first key I had for the defense was negative rushing plays. Last week, the Tide was ranked like 99th in stuff rate, which is not good. 42nd overall in rushing defense. That was last week. We were at the bottom of college football. Well, I'm happy to report that we doubled our numbers. We are ranked 64th in the country in tackles for loss. That's an improvement. That's a big jump too. Or really, we're tied with 3 other schools, including little brother from, over down there inside of the state line, but what I'm talking about. That aside, that's a wonderful step in the right direction. And the goal for now is to get better before heading into Baton Rouge. And based what I saw, they seem to be kind of falling off a little bit down there, while the Tide is on the rise. So get your life vest ready down there in Baton Rouge, because I don't know. And, just get your life vest ready down there in Baton Rouge. Really, let me just send it out to all the little kittens out there in them there football waters. Tide may be rising. Number 2 my key for the defense was to limit pass exposure by any means necessary. Coverage, pressure, scheme, protect the rotation if possible, because we had to make up for the injuries. Well, Brady had a rough day, man, and his backup was not even given a chance to shine. Many times we applied pressure with just 4, which is great. So moving on to my last key for the defense was to increase the game-changing goal. I wanted him to increase the goal or just increase the output from 12 to 14. And I said, once you make it 14, they seed it by 1 or 2. that's a sack or a safety, 3 and out, a takeaway, 4th down stop. But let's look at how we ended up. We had 1 sack because of Jahad Campbell, protecting the quarterback, protecting the cornerbacks. May have kept that number down. Played a lot of zone, a lot of dropbacks. Did do pressure, but really dropped back in coverage trying to get picks. But Jahad Campbell got through for 1 sack. We had 4 tackles for loss. Thank you, Jahad, Justin. Oh, this name won't get me. Okoronkwo. Jamarian Latham and Q Rosal had tackles for loss. The Crimson Tide had 5 3-and-outs by my count. I may be off with that one. That was a hard one to go through all the text to see, but I counted 5 3-and-outs, 3 interceptions, one by Malachi. They hate me. Now they love me more. Q Rosal and Bray Hubbard. Bray Hubbard coming in and filling the spot, coming up with a pick. And the Tide had 1 4th-down stop. That's 14 game changes by the defense. What I thought the goal should be, but they got it. They did it. It mattered. And pitched a goose egg in the middle of the season. Offensively, I was a little high with this one. I said we need to have 45 to 50 rushes per game. That's a great number to have. And I wanted 70% of those to go to the, go to the backs. Let's not run Miro so much, but, take control of the clock. Well, things didn't work out that way, but with the QB not like Bryce or Tour, but more like Jalen Hurts or the great Walter Lewis, I prefer a 65% pass, 35% runs, that kind of mix. Now, the Tide ran 26 pass plays, and they rushed 37 times, 63 total plays. That's 40% pass, a little high, but with 26 passes, that's not that bad. I don't think Jalen really needs to go past 25, but 26 is acceptable. There were 2 sacks, mainly because of 2 things. Yes, Jalen held the ball too long. However, one of them plays, Jalen was standing inside the 10-yard line, and whoever called the play, all the receivers went about 15 yards before they start running routes. I'm like, how long do you expect that man, the pocket, to hold up when it ain't nothing behind him but a safety? You got to cut that out. He had the ball a little long, but that play calling, it's hard to do, man. When they blitzing you and they know you got to throw the ball, But remember this, defense did a good job, man. But one thing I wanted to go back to, Brady Cook is their passionate leader, but Mizzou is still led by their defense. Top-rated defense. Where did I have them? They were last week before the game. They were, 15th and 4th down. Total defense, they was up there real high. 8th. 10th rate defense in all of college football. But, their defense, they gave up 290 yards to my Crimson Tide on 37 run plays. Now, these are numbers we need to duplicate because we can repeat these on anyone, I feel, in the country. To me, you can repeat those numbers, especially on the rest of our schedule. I believe that. Prior to the game, like I said, they was giving up 273 yards a game. Missouri's defense was giving up 273 yards for the whole game, per game, as they were 5-1, 6-1? Were they 5-1? The Crimson Tide gave them their average game output on the ground. You see, here's a note that hopefully Sheridan is getting, and Coach DeVore is getting, that it's impossible to play great defense with a horrible offense. Let me digress though. Without complementary offense doing their part with the clock, that's how I should say that. They had to lose their quarterback, and hopefully we learn from that. The Tide had 4 rushing TDs on the ground. Our running game, man, Jam, Justice, Richard Young, they averaged 4.4, 9.9, and 21 yards a rush, respectively. Respectively meaning that Jam had 4.4, Justice had 9.9, and Richard Young came off the bench like, let me in, and 3 rushes for 21 yards. Come on now. Milroe he had 11 carries, averaged 4.5 yards a carry, 63 yards. I want him carrying in single digits because it's a health thing. But what a ground performance, which is great to see in the middle of the season. Did we take it to another notch? We got time to work on it. We'll see. The second key for our offense was no negative plays. Focus on no penalties. Let's have excellence in execution and protect the ball. Mizzou recorded 5 tackles for loss and 2 sacks. 2 sacks. A former saxophone player, I'm saying 2 sacks. 2 sacks. But we protected the ball. and there were no turnovers. And that's nice. There were 7 penalties, but only 4 on the offense. That's pretty good. Parker had a false start. Booker had a holding. Booker also participated in a chop block. Got to clean that up. And then Justice Haynes got a run in on out. He got a hold on a run play on the outside. Not as bad as the game against Tennessee, where the team had a total of 15 plays. I prefer 5 penalties or less, but I take 7 considering where we've been. Like I said, three of the 7 were real mental errors, but not by the defense. I mean, not by the offense, but by the defense, special teams, and by the referees. Because LT Overton got a personal foul. If you watch that play over and over again, you can barely hear them whistles, which means the referees close to the line of scrimmage, they weren't blowing their whistles. That wasn't really his fault. They weren't all blowing their whistles because their whistles came in later, about 2 steps before him planting that doggone quarterback like a flag. LT flattened that dude. Special teams, now, these penalties were kind of nuts, though. And Mbakwe with the catch interference, and K-Law had a personal foul on the punt. Go touch the sign. They got that sign they run back into. I say don't have it inside of the complex. Put that sign out there, but put it out there by the Paul Burr Bryant Museum. Let them run over there and touch the sign, then come back to practice. But I think all those things will get rectified during the bye week. But 7 compared to 15, and 7 is lower than our average of 8.63 going into the game. I'll take it. The third key that I wanted the offense to stick to was this. Don't drill the passes. I'm going to say it again. Like you're dealing cards. Don't drill the passes in one person. I said use Hollywood, but let Kobe Prentice, Kendrick Law, Dippery, Jeremy Bernard, let them eat. Let them in the game. Well, Caleb Odom didn't get any attention this year. I don't think he got any targets, but I'm pleased to report that Milroe did a pretty good job spreading around I think it was 16 completions that he had. Hollywood had 8 targets and 4 receptions, but the majority, all other passes were caught by 7 other receivers, including 1 running back pass, and 2 tight ends got in on it. So let's just take this all in. Let's get healthy, rest up, and hope these guys will keep it going. Get ready, to add a couple of wrinkles for the next. Let's go. Let's add some wrinkles so we can get ready to try to make a title run. No, people don't want me to say that. They want me to be modest. But why are we here other than win titles? I don't understand that. So I want the Tide players to stay focused, communicate with each other, and stay free of off-field trouble. I'm saying it again. Stay free of off-field trouble. There's still trouble out there in the world. And please, Coach DeBoer, please, pretty please, with powdered sugar on top, honey, and some of that cherry sauce and all that stuff. Just please let this become the character of this team. The Crimson Tide is not dead, y'all. As usual, we are in control of our destiny. The next game, the next game is just like this last one. It's an elimination game. Hang on to your hat, folks. The boys are not done fighting, and we are locked and ready to disappoint the haters like we have been known to do. We've got a short one this week. That's all I got for this week. And just remember to join us here every Monday. Every Monday at 7:30 on Around the Herd. Iron Bowl debates will drop Wednesday at 6 p.m. And on Friday at 8 a.m. is when I'm planning on putting my version out. And, click the bell so you can get all the notifications. So when I drop a video and go live, you won't miss a thing. And with that, we'll see you next time on Around the Herd. Tell your football friends all about us. And always remember, roll, Tide, roll.